Hey.
gotta work.
Hello, fans of the Monday Movie Club. Let me just say this about that. Way back in 2018, when we moved to Florida, I was unemployed for 8 months. I had nothing to do. So I decided to watch the greatest movies of all time. That I compiled all different lists. I didn't want to watch just one. And then I came up with this list, which Joel lovingly refers to as the Franken list. Because, like, do I have to explain it? No.
No.
If you do, for our one fan, we have problems.
Okay, so for our Monday Movie Club this year, I decided we should watch the top of that list, the Frankie list. And number one on the list is arguably, the best movie of all time.
It is the favorite movie of several of my friends, all time. Yeah,
Where are they? I thought they were going to come join us.
I
Yeah.
forgot. I forgot.
And my contact was busy as well.
See, now I'm playing the music, but I don't hear it.
No.
No.
I always hear it in my head.
Yeah.
All right, well, I thought I was being dramatic, but I think you have to share the audio or some shit on Zoom. Okay. Anyway, I'm Frank Gaffney, Frankie Brunches. With us is Louis Cabrazzi. A little in joke because we all have heard that his name is Lou Cabrazzi.
Not one of us.
Cabrazzi.
One of us has always known it was Luca
Yeah,
Brasi.
I don't know. He lives on the second floor. And okay, Mark Ariola Titsalata.
Yeah, who's Mark?
Yeah, I don't know.
We don't know.
Who's missing one of the brothers? And
Half
Don
brother.
Don Cringer. And Annie King. Welcome. Who is sitting in her dining room? Change of the scenery there.
Hold on, Joel, what?
Shouldn't Cringer be petting Amy?
Yeah, right. Well, this is like the opening scene of the movie.
No,
Sure.
I know that. That's why I'm
And
saying it.
Austin Powers as
Right.
well.
And he does have the puffy cheeks.
Okay, well, here we go. The plot, if you've been on Mars or something, based on Mario Puzo's novel, The God Puzo? Puzo?
Puzo.
Focuses on the powerful Italian-American crime family of Vito Corleone, played by Marlon Brando. When his youngest son, Michael, played by Al Pacino, reluctantly joins the family, he becomes involved in the inevitable cycle of violence and betrayal. I don't write these synopses. I get them from the web,
No kidding.
the interweb. I've seen this one several times. I even watched that 9-hour Godfather saga, which Paramount edited without Francis's input and sold to NBC for a ton of money so they could promote the next movie.
Well, it was also because Coppola needed money for Apocalypse Now as well.
Yep.
So even though he had no input in it,
He gladly took the money.
yeah.
I think they paid like $10 million to show
Oh, it
it,
was
like,
a ridiculous amount at the time.
like once.
Wow.
Oh,
Ooh.
that's Sasha. All right, so this was my father was in the mob in Manhattan, very low level bad guy. When I was growing up, so as you can imagine, this was one of his favorite films. He watched it all the time, and so he even took us to see the movie opening weekend. And, it opened in New York first. I was 14 years old. We lived in Manhattan. We were right there. And he was a little upset when the sex scene came on when Sonny was banging the bridesmaid against the door. But not one flinch at all the violence that I saw that followed it. He didn't care that I saw all that, just that I saw the sex. Welcome to America.
Right.
All right, so I wrote some observations while watching it. Just the opening strains of Nino Rota's theme fills my heart with joy. I love this movie. And then it says Mario Puzo's the Godfather. I stand corrected. It's not just the Godfather, it's Mario Puzo's the Godfather. Which this is my father's actual first edition paperback from 1970.
Cool.
Nice.
It $1.50, just like in the States. And it actually opens, I know you care. It actually opens with Amigo Bonacera, who's the first person we see in the movie as well. but this it just tells his little story about he's going to go and talk to the Don, and then it goes to Johnny Fontaine. So the brilliance really of the movie is opening with the wedding and everybody coming to ask the favors, and it's such a great way to introduce all the characters, all the themes of the movie, and having Diane Keaton's character come in and be the new person so Michael could explain everything to her, explains it to us.
Yeah.
Brilliant way to start the movie. Brilliant. Okay. And Marlon Brando, say what you will, he is brilliant in this movie.
Yeah.
Every look on his face. And this, yes, the dental device is a little annoying.
I thought
But
it was just cotton balls in his mouth.
no, it was for the audition, but then he had an actual dental
Okay.
thing made for the movie. But, for him, again, he felt like Vito was a bulldog. And so he wanted that look. And
Hmm.
perfect looks like a bulldog to me. Um, the cat, his expressions, just so beautiful. Everything about it. And Joel, right? The cat was just roaming around the set or something, and he
Yeah,
just picked
it was a stray cat he picked up that
yeah,
morning, and there it was.
That's
yeah,
fantastic. I didn't know that. That's great.
Yeah.
just a random thing, and of course, so many character actors in this movie who went on to be some of our favorite, and all the Italian stuff, nostalgia for sure. And I hope everybody's sitting. Anthony had never seen this movie before
Whoa.
Until when? Just this week?
until this week. I'm like,
Wow.
then watch it with me, and it was very interesting. He thought it was too long. He thought, yeah, it moved a little slow, but he found it very interesting, and he definitely wants to watch part two.
Cool.
That's good.
And so, what Mario Puzo did really was to take all of these stories of the mafia, if you will, and all this what was it? Folklore. What do I mean?
Yeah, the
How do you
myths,
say
the
it?
legends.
Que se dice in English?
Like you said, the myth, the legend, the lore.
Yeah, all of
Yeah.
these urban legends, yes, of the mob, and just kind of made up his the story. Um, and I love when he Michael tells the story of the being with Johnny Fontaine being with the band, and he said he made him an offer. Obviously, it's either your signature or your brains are going to be on this contract. I mean that
Yeah.
says everything. And then Michael says, that's my family. That's not me.
Yeah.
And we're like, ha ha. And so I got so absorbed in watching it again, even umpteen time. It really is such a great movie. And so I again didn't take notes, but then, of course, so many famous lines. Leave the gun, take the cannoli. Brilliant.
And that was
Which I read in the trivia was ad-libbed.
it was ad libbed. Yeah,
Brilliant. Just
Yeah.
brilliant. And speak so much to how this was just part of everyday stuff. Kill the guy. Okay. Don't forget the cannoli. My wife will kill me. That was what, don't forget the cannoli. And then we go to Sicily, and Taormina. Taormina is where they filmed it, in Sicily, around that area. And that's where they filmed The White Lotus just recently.
Ah.
And you can actually take a tour, a Godfather tour of Sicily.
Oh,
I'm gonna,
fun.
I'm going to do that. It's on my list now. And then, of course, what?
Well, Anthony had his movie vacation.
Right.
and
Yes,
you should have
exactly.
yours.
Yes, exactly. And then I have to turn to my esteemed colleague, Mark. Could you please rate the boobies?
Uh, sea level. No, I don't know. I give them a 3, maybe. They were
The,
okay.
was the areola too big for you?
Ariel was just fine, actually. It was just
Oh, okay.
they were good. They could be a little bit more lifted up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you want to see mine? Good
Ah!
Lord.
Talk
Don't
about
forget
lifting up. Yeah, but Aim, if you were taking that picture, you'd totally go like that. Here they
Well,
are.
yeah.
She was
Yeah.
also, she looked like she was 19 years old also. That's
she was younger
That
than
girl.
that.
she was younger than that. Wow. her Apollonias were very young.
Yes.
Yes.
which, by the way, is Anthony's sister's name, Apollona.
Ah.
We call her Abby, but it's Apollona.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yes. It started out as Appy with P's, but then people
Abby.
confused it and she became Abby.
Hmm.
Okay. And then, of course, the final assassinations when Michael, just brilliant. The pacing, the editing,
Yeah.
everything about it is brilliant. Okay, absolutely 4 stars for me. I can't say enough good things about this movie. I love it. If I could do 5 stars, I would.
Wow. Is this your top five of all time?
Yes,
Is this your
absolutely.
top two of all time?
I would have to say yes.
Wow.
And Gone with the Wind being the other one,
Okay.
and that's a lot more nostalgia factor for me, as this movie is as well. All right, so who would like to go next? Has everybody seen this movie before?
Yeah.
Only once
Oh,
last year.
Yeah, I remember that. We all
Yeah,
had to talk you into it almost. Yeah.
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 Like I
All
guess I
right,
should
do you want
watch.
to go next to give a newbie's view on this movie?
I what what
Wait, before you start, you know what this reminds me of? When we went to the movies to see Casablanca. And I'm like, oh my God, it's a brilliant movie. And you and Anthony had never seen it before. And you were both like, it's okay.
Wait,
Because what you didn't have, and now you do have, is the nostalgia of knowing
Yeah.
what's going to happen and how tragic it really is from the get-go.
when did you guys go see Casablanca in the theater? Because there was a 50th anniversary print that went around, and when it was in Greenwich here, they filled the entire screen with the picture. So when Ilsa pulls the gun on Rick,
you
you
don't
couldn't
see
tell
it.
what the hell was going on because it was completely cut off.
That's
That's
awful.
fine.
It was awful.
It probably was that.
That would ruin the movie. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Oh.
All right, so here you are having seen it a second time.
And luckily, I didn't remember too much of it. There were moments, of course, I remembered. But just the opening, like you said, and going all the way to the guy in the movie, in the movies, and the horse head. It's such a brilliant
Oh yeah.
opening. That whole like first 30 minutes, the horse head is coming. But it was amazing. It was
Yeah.
amazing. I loved it.
Yeah,
Even knowing
Anthony,
it's
when the music started and the mansion, and then Anthony's like, "This is the horse head, isn't it?"
oh yeah, because he had obviously known about that, I would hope.
Yeah, but he had never seen the movie.
Did he
Right.
know that it was a real horse head?
I did mention that. Yeah.
Okay.
How funny. And also the other thing I loved was when Lou Cabrazzi was killed, he was in the background and in the foreground was something and it had a fish on it. I was like, oh my God, he sleeps with the fishes. That's brilliant. I love
Yeah.
that little moment of the fish.
Yeah.
And I did, I hate a long movie, and this movie's 3 fucking hours long, and I didn't find it long or anything like that. Nothing. I
Yeah.
loved every minute of it. I'm not a huge fan in this movie of Marlon Brando. I actually had trouble understanding him at some points, and I couldn't put the closed captioning on. I just found it annoying, and he's barely in the movie. I was like, anybody really, to me, could have done this part, any good actor. So the fact that he got an Oscar for it was a little
Mm,
marked
Well,
up.
I mean, I think part of it was a little career achievement, and that and a little comeback for him. So they were like, "Oh, well, we like
Yeah,
him."
I can totally see that. And I loved reading in the trivia. This I did not know at all was and Joel, you can obviously attest to this. Robert De Niro was offered a part and he ended up not taking it to do another movie. And
yes,
that opened him up to being able to play Vito in part two and win the Oscar.
yeah,
Love that. What was he supposed to be? The abusive husband or something?
yeah. I think he was supposed to play Carlo at one.
Carlo, yeah.
I
So
mean,
anyway,
every young person in Hollywood auditioned for almost every one of those roles at some
yeah,
point. So
yeah, sure.
I mean, yeah, it was a little amazing to me that James Caan's 32, Al Pacino's 31, Diane Keaton is 26. I'm like, that's craziness.
Yeah,
They're
because
so
to
young.
us, they were never that age.
Yeah, yeah.
and now
You was
that
never my age. Nobody was ever my age.
Yeah. So I did love the movie. I'm going to go with 3 3/4 stars because I don't have the nostalgia. And I know, too, I enjoyed even better. So I'll give that one 4 stars preemptively.
They can both be 4 stars,
I
Amy.
know, I know, I know. Something about this one stopped it from me from being 4 star. Oh my God, this is the best movie ever.
You didn't like Marlon Brando.
Maybe.
All right, Ariola. You did
Uh,
see some, so you should be fine with this movie.
yeah. Yeah, no, I'll
Let me
start by
pick you
saying
up. So yeah, so you didn't include Tom Hagen because you feel like he's not really a brother. That's rude.
that
Adopted,
he wasn't in this picture,
adopted children are children.
but that this picture wouldn't happen. Uh, I'll start by saying Goodfellas is my favorite mobster movie of all time, but this is a close second. And I had seen, so I did the math in my head. I had seen The Godfather once, way back 20 something years ago. Then I watched the chronological order one of one and two together twice. So this is my third time seeing it, but really only my second time. Sorry, this is my fourth time seeing it, but really only the second time as it was originally made. So I was a little bit, I was watching it almost as if it was the first time. Go ahead, Joel.
I have a quick question. So when you watched the chronological version, was it the same version each time? Because there's like 5 different versions of the chronological version.
Do you own the Godfather saga?
No, I own none of them.
So you
But
got it from the library?
a friend from work had lent me his chronological version, and that's what I watched. So
On
I don't know.
DVD or he taped it off the TV?
No, he had like some crazy big box set with gold on it, and
No.
Okay.
yeah.
I
That's
know
it.
which one that is then. So,
Okay.
but that's the only version you've watched. You haven't watched a different a different version.
To my knowledge, no, because I remember it was the same thing. Yeah.
Okay.
I love the music. I love Luca Brasi. I know he's barely in it, but he's
Oh
a
my
favorite of mine.
God, so heartbreaking when he's sitting there rehearsing his little speech and then
Yeah.
I might have read it
messes
from
up.
I might have
Oh,
read it from your trivia from last time you posted it, but I feel like he said that he's not really an actor. He was actually doing that in the background, and then Francis had him do that on screen. Is that right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh no, it's not that he had him do it on
Adorable.
screen. They actually built because with the wedding sequence, they had cameras all over the place filming everything, and they caught that. So
So
Yeah.
that was
Right,
actually him
right.
practicing. That wasn't him doing it for the camera. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And that house is actually in Staten Island.
yes,
It makes sense.
Yeah.
And I said as I watched it this time that Johnny Fontaine must be 45 years old, which makes it weird that a bunch of teenage girls were drooling over him. Then I went to the IMDb and I looked it up. And he was 45 years old when this movie came out, exactly 45.
Well, I mean, they picked Al Martino because being an Italian singer made sense for it, but Frank Sinatra was younger than that when he made From Here to Eternity.
Okay.
Just saying.
Uh, you already said it, Frank, but make him an offer you can't refuse. And a lot of the other ones as well. That one specifically is one of the greatest lines ever. Um, It blew my mind watching this that I am now 2 years older than Marlon Brando was when he was making this, which of course makes me very mature and sophisticated. And again, of all the great lines in this movie, Tom saying, "I'm German Irish," deadpan to a Hollywood producer, cracked my ass up. That was my favorite line of the whole movie this time, because I did not remember that at all. Um,
And then
again,
he called him Crap Mick, which I love.
Yeah, he's like, I got insults for every race, so
Yeah.
don't
well, yeah, and I mean his Italian insults that producer, I forgot he had like five in a row, just stringing them
wow.
together. Yeah. And A Real Horse's Head, I missed the 70s, that's just crazy. To me, the scariest part of the movie was Clemenza grabbing a bottle of wine with the same hand he had just made raw sausage. Disgusting. Disgusting. Actually, and Clemenza was the most believable mobster. I read that he's didn't have that many film credits to him. That's just the way he talked. But he was that to me, and I grew up in the Bronx, so that this was like the same guy that I've known before.
Yeah, Anthony felt that too. It's
Yeah,
like,
he
I
was just
don't
very
want
real.
his
I don't want
uncle was an actual mobster, a famous mobster.
It makes
So,
sense. And so was Luca Brasi. He was a heavy for the yeah.
yeah, Lenny Montana was in the mob.
The scene in Louis' restaurant, I thought I'm gonna be smart. When they started speaking Italian and there was no subtitles, I'm gonna turn the subtitles on, only to the subtitles to say speaking Italian.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure.
You son of a bitch.
Oh, I love that scene though. That whole restaurant scene also so good.
Fantastic.
Oh,
And then when you think the gun's not gonna be there if you've never seen it before, because you
Sure.
can't find it,
Right, because they turned around and you're thinking, oh my God, they're going to a different restaurant.
Oh,
right.
that part. Yeah. So we're going to
Yeah.
Jersey? Maybe.
Yeah. The hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And oh my God, what a bunch of gavones. The scene of them, well, I mean, there's a few scenes, but them eating at the table, I'm like, chew with your mouth closed, people. Jesus.
No, no, not good.
Um, and yes, I know
How
Amy
many
just
times has Anthony told me, "Can you close your mouth when you
mouth. I've heard the same thing from a certain wife of mine. Um, and the scene with Son that it just coincidentally, Amy just for those at home, Amy sent a funny Simpsons reference to it. But the scene with Sonny beating the brother-in-law Carlo, that's like if there was one scene I had to tell you that I remembered like basically start to finish, it's that one. For some reason, it's just in my head. And who could blame him for that? Michael is in Sicily long enough to get married, but not long enough to get rid of a shiner from a single punch. Francis, Francis,
broke
come
his
on.
jaw. He broke his jaw.
But
Then
he
why was
also
it up
had the
here?
black eye.
Yeah, it was up here.
And he broke his jaw.
Yeah, but he
I've
broke
been
his jaw.
looking
They had
That
to
martial
was
arts.
beat
when he
him
was
up.
I've
talking.
been punched in the face many times. You can get. I've had my mouth cut open in the inside. I've had shiners. They go away. You're not going to find a wife and get married before that goes away. I'm sorry. By 2 cents.
We don't really
Uh,
know how long he was in Sicily, other than
agreed. But you know
Five
that
minutes. Could have been 5 minutes.
yeah.
Isn't it sad
Sonny
how
said it's got to be at least a year. You got to figure he's like roaming the desert like Jesus out there, first of all, with his two disciples forever. Anyway, and Carlo, how do you have the balls to keep beating your wife who is a sister of mobsters? That's just crazy. Um,
Well, because he knew, he said exactly that. He said, "I'm not going to make my sister a widow." He said that.
yeah, but you know you're at least going to catch beatings from Sonny until he died. I know, but I know he did that. He set
Yeah,
him up
but
for that. I get all that, but
yeah,
at the same
and
time,
obviously it was worth whatever money he got
yeah,
or
until it wasn't.
whatever he got.
I was happy when they whacked him. If they hadn't, I would have been pissed.
You can
Um,
back him yourself.
I would have. I would have. Of course, the baptism, and the first screen credit for Sofia Coppola.
Yep.
So
That scene is absolute
he didn't get
perfection.
credit, but yeah.
Okay. Uh, and the ending shot of the movie with the door closing on Kay, that is another one that is just stuck in my head. It's so perfect. So many
Yeah.
things about the movie are perfect.
That is not how the book ends, by the way.
How does the book end?
The last thing in the book, Kay is actually talking with Tom Hagen about what happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
This was better.
And she goes to church and it says, "Bring, bring, 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 bring." She said the necessary prayers for the soul of Michael Corleone.
Okay.
That's how the I don't know. I think it's the final when they created the chronological version. The first time it ran on NBC, it was broken up into 4 parts, and each part had their own opening and closing credits. And I think it's the very last part. That's the scene with Kay in church lighting candles.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the final scene in the book.
Yeah.
Well, she never should have gotten in the car with him when he got back. That was he clearly doesn't even care about her. He needs her more than anything. But the last thing I'll say is number one, I'll say that these are the most notes I've ever written for any movie in our movie club ever. The closest was Aliens back about 2 years ago. I really, really enjoyed it this time. Not that I hadn't before. I thought I was going to come into this and I thought I was going to be the odd man out and giving it only 3.5 or 3.75, but I'm going to full 4 stars. It just gets a full 4 cannolis from me.
Ah, four
No.
Cannolis.
Mark, do you keep all your notes and are you publishing a book soon?
No, they all get recycled immediately after this. But I remember immediately, like as soon as I'm done, it gets crumpled up and thrown out. I can watch this anytime I want, any of them. I'm catching up, by the way. I'm on April of last year. I'm on The Sting. I'm watching our review of The Sting. So I'm going to catch up now that the wife is in rehearsal for the next 9 years.
Okay.
So you've done like the 2 years before already?
I've watched every single episode of ours in order, but I'm 9 months behind.
Yeah, but like when I asked for like everyone's star, did you write down everyone's star rating so we could put it in a spreadsheet?
We have a spreadsheet, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know how far it goes, but I did it last time you mentioned it.
Oh, you did? I didn't see
I
it.
did. Yeah. Okay. Um, yes, maybe that should be our next project, to watch all of our videos
Yeah.
and review them.
0
All
star.
right.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. All right. Okay, Annie, so you've seen this before, of course.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that I've seen it more than the other two, than
Yeah.
Amy or Mark. Like I've seen this dozens of times.
Wow.
And
Not your genre.
no, no, but it's that good a movie.
It's
And
compelling. It's very watchable.
yeah, and I definitely think that I read the book before I saw the movie.
Right.
So I was a little bit like, oh, they left out so many parts. And
Yeah. Yeah.
if you
And
haven't
it's
read the
still
book,
three,
the
and it's
book,
still 3 hours.
yeah,
Look at these pages are yellow.
yes. And I recently reread the book last year because sometime last year they were playing it on something for like 2 weeks straight, and it was like all the movies, and I
Yeah.
just like saw it like 6 times in those 2 weeks,
Yeah.
actually.
That was
We just
AMC.
kept watching it. Hmm?
AMC. AMC.
Yeah. So I've seen it most recently, just a few months back. But
So
yeah,
you want to
it's
give
a
us
great
you want
movie.
to give us a book related to the movie book thing? What do you think was the most thing that was missing?
Johnny Fontaine's character is much more important in the book. And you just get a lot more background of
Yeah.
the characters from the book.
But do you get the recipe how to make the gravy?
No,
Ah,
not included.
No.
But yeah, no, I mean, I don't think there's too much more to say with what everyone said, It's just it is slow, but I feel like that's the pace.
Yeah.
That's actually like the way the movie should be watched.
Yeah.
It's just,
The
kind
music, the music goes along with it too.
oh,
Then piano, piano, as they say in Italian.
oh.
yeah. So no, not my genre at all, but very watchable. I'll go 4 on this.
Four
Amy,
cannolis.
four cannolis. Amy, who are you talking to? Your boyfriend see
Ruby
that?
is, she just let out a horrific scream that scared me.
Didn't hear it.
Yeah, me neither.
No. All right, Joel, what do you have to add?
Nothing.
You have any no God? Oh, I see a Godfather.
Yes, I have Funko Pops. There's Don Vito and Freddie and
Did you bring Don Vito closer so we could see it?
sure.
A little far away there.
Sitting in his chair, stroking his cat.
Is that a euphemism?
Oh my
Yes.
God, that's so cute. I love that they gave him the cat.
Yeah.
You can't ha-
That's
you
cool.
can you can't have him without the cat. I do actually have a 6 scale figure of him, but it's up in the attic and it was too much of a pain to, it's currently not on display. So
I think that cat really should have gotten a nomination because the way he plays with the cat and then the cat perfectly sits on the desk, like
yeah.
just waiting for his close up. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's brilliant.
Um
I should have worn my Godfather shirt. Oh goodness, I have one. I'll
Oh,
wear it
come
next.
on.
next week.
Next
Damn
Yeah,
week.
it.
yeah.
Obvious.
Joel, I'm sure you read the book, right?
Yes, I did read the book. I've actually read the book a couple of times. Honestly, this is one of those cases where I think the movie's better than the book. It's just because Coppola and Puzo sat down and really deconstructed the entire narrative and then
I
put it,
would say distilled as well.
yeah, and we have to deconstruct to distill in my book, but but really came up with the essence of things. And the book was a bestseller. It's not a bad read at all. It's a fun read, but it's one of those books that, honestly, it's an airport book like Robert Ludlum or John Grisham.
Right.
You read it on a flight, you put it down, you
Yeah.
move on with your life. The
Yeah.
movie is what made it a zeitgeist, a really legendary thing, where it's become part of the pop culture uh, background at this point. And I
Right.
think that,
I mean, there would be no Sopranos without this
oh,
movie.
definitely not at
No, yeah.
all.
Yeah.
So I've seen this movie more times than I care to count because I've lost count. But this particular screening was the first time my friend Dave had ever seen it, or at
Hold
least
on. You say that every week. What has Dave watched?
Obviously, no movies at all.
Dave's favorite movie is Convoy, and I keep taking it on and off my list because it's a fun movie. Um, But
Wait, now Convoy C.W. McCall? Convoy?
yeah,
That movie?
the songs from the movie. It's a
It's
Sam
about
Peckinpah.
truck, right?
Yeah, it's about truck drivers. It's a Sam
Yeah.
Peckinpah movie with Chris Christopherson. It's a fun
Oh.
movie, but that's Dave's favorite movie. And admittedly, growing up, he just wasn't into movies, so he hasn't seen a lot. And over the last few years, I've been introducing him to a lot of stuff.
I'm sorry. I call that bad parenting.
Yeah.
Yes, agreed.
You know what? I'm unfortunately a bad parent because my kids just refuse to watch anything I ask them to watch with me, 90% of the time. So as much as I wanted Malcolm to sit and watch with us, he did not. But Dave saw it. His daughter Sophie saw it for the first time. Dave does not like long movies. If it's over 2 hours, he starts to get antsy. He sat through the movie, no problem. Didn't realize it was 3 hours long when it was over. And
Well, Anthony said that he definitely wanted to see part two. He said, but not right now.
right.
Next week.
Yeah, but that's one of the things we're trying to figure out, whether we're doing it Friday night like we always do, or Saturday when he doesn't have work before we can stretch it 20 minutes
Is
out of
part two longer?
Yeah, it's 3 hours and 20 minutes.
Wow.
So
It's a damn courtroom scene.
exactly.
Too long.
Honestly, I don't think I have much more to say than the rest of you have already said. It is a great movie. When people ask me what I think one of what the best movie ever made is, I tend to default to Citizen Kane. But this is easily number two. If that's a
So
thing.
you're saying it's Duty?
Yeah, it's Duty. Yes.
Number two.
Cockapoo.
Yeah, I would say Citizen Kane was number three for me for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Amy, we have the four of us will have to appeal your ranking.
Give me one good reason why I should change.
Because then
you're
we're
wrong.
in agreement. For cannoli, everybody said for
Because
cannoli.
there's a cat in the movie.
Yes.
All right.
A cat that,
Awesome.
according to Frank, should have won an Oscar.
Should have been nominated.
Nominated. So
They don't have animal categories. Special Oscars were given for animals, right?
they
Last year was
were
an
a
Oscar.
long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of Oscars, Nino Rota's score was could not be nominated. It was originally nominated, and then they pulled the nomination because some of the music he had written for another film. So it could, but then the funny part is he actually won for part two, which uses the same themes. So
That doesn't make any sense.
yeah, exactly.
You explained this when we watched The Hateful Eight, that if it's like 54%, some bullshit percent as previously written, then you cannot win.
Yeah, something like that. So it was bullshit, but
Perfectly evokes the whole Italian milieu, if you will.
And I want to say one quick thing to something Mark mentioned about Goodfellas being your favorite and the best mob movie, and I would agree with that because I don't consider The Godfather to be a mob movie. It's an epic film about family. It just happens to be about a mob.
That's what they're.
It's
that's
a fair point. It's a fair point. Yeah.
Yeah. That just happens to be what their career is.
Yeah. And
the family dynamics. I mean,
yeah, definitely
how
more about that.
beautiful. Sonny's the hothead. Fredo is the milk toasty, ineffectual, everything.
They should have featured Mama more. Mama was always in the background. She barely had any lines. She should have been part of the family.
Morgana King.
Yeah,
she's a big girl. I would. Most Italian women are small.
I did watch the disc I have has a whole bunch of documentaries and stuff, but there's also some of the deleted scenes that wound up in the chronological version are on there, and some of them are like, this would have been more interesting if they had left it in for this particular film. If The Godfather there's like maybe 10-15 minutes of scenes that were deleted from this that were added back to the chronological version that I think still would have worked. One of them is Mama being told by Sonny that Vito had been shot. We don't see that reaction. We just hear about it.
Right.
And I'm saying that because hold on, because to Joel, to your point, to make this a true family movie, I think she should have had more. She should have been part of that. That would have been a very emotional.
The mother's a very big part of the Italian family for sure.
Yeah.
but I think,
Yeah. Like
obviously,
in the
Annie,
book, when Kay comes looking for Michael, there's a huge scene of her discussing it with the mom.
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. The but I'm sure there was pressure from Paramount to be less than 3 hours.
No,
Yeah.
How
No.
many
no.
shows a day can you do?
Coppola and his team actually the first director's cut that was submitted to Paramount was 2 hours and 6 minutes long, and Robert
Oh, okay.
Evans said, "Go back and fix it and make it longer."
Yeah. Oh, okay.
That's
Robert
what
being Robert Evans.
that's what Amy says on a Friday night too.
Right.
Make it longer.
Make it longer.
That's funny.
I do. One last thing I'll say is, if you do have Paramount Plus, you should watch The Offer, which is
Oh,
a
okay. Yeah, yeah.
110 episode miniseries about the making of the first
Oh,
film.
yeah, hold on. I was going to, and I saw that there were like 10 1-hour episodes. This is
Yeah.
not like a quick
Yeah.
documentary. This
No,
is a
it's not.
freaking investment.
It's not a
It's
documentary
not a
either.
documentary. Yeah,
There's a lot of conjecture and
Oh, it's an actual
conversations. Yeah.
yeah,
biopic type of show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bio
I
show.
mean,
Yeah.
it's let's call it a docudrama.
Docudrama. That's the
Docudrama.
word I was trying to think of.
Yeah. So there's some real facts in it, but some of it's made up.
yeah. Well, and like one of the character that oh, what's her face? This is on Ted Lasso.
Anyway.
Yeah,
Anyway.
her character is an amalgamation of like three people. So
Yeah. So yeah. So
it's
but
highly worth watching.
it is, and knowing The Godfather, it was a lot of fun to watch. Yeah.
Joel, while I was watching it, I noticed something.
What did you notice, Mark?
I noticed when Michael took over, he said, "Tom, you're out." Uh, the girls aren't going to get this. My take is that he's trying to protect Tom as opposed to actually kick him out because he's about to do all the murderous shit.
Yes.
Ladies, is that what you got too?
Didn't even
Yeah,
think
he
of
wants to keep that on the legal side since
Yeah,
he
but
wants
he
to
wants
get
to,
out.
he wants
But
to-
does he not trust Tom, or is he trying to kick him? Or is he trying to protect him?
He's trying to protect him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's all.
turn the family legit,
Yeah.
Mm.
which
We
No,
didn't see yet.
no spoiler alert.
Yeah. Part two.
Okay, all right. Well, that's it for us. For cannoli,
Cannoli movie. Hey.
The Godfather, the whole trilogy actually is available on Paramount Plus. If you subscribe to that, you could rent it from Prime for $3.59 each movie, but it should be in your collection. Like Joel has it there.
Yep.
Is that the new Blu-ray one?
This is actually it's a 4K steelbook that has both a
Right.
Blu-ray and a 4K disc in it. So
Is that the new restoration?
Does
You
it have
know
the
the one-
beta?
no, there's no beta version.
Then I'm not
Yeah.
gonna get it.
You know that maybe it was my streaming, but the one I watched it on Paramount Plus. I did not watch my DVD, my Blu-ray.
Okay,
There were still some things that were very grainy, and
because it's supposed to look that way.
Yeah.
no, it was like
Well, then
Yes.
that's your streaming. Because
Maybe.
it's when they restored it, you don't
Yeah.
want to remove all the grain from a movie because
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the natural aspect. When you
It's a
do
film.
that, everybody looks like they're in,
Like a
Madame
video.
Wax Museum. They
Yeah,
look
yeah.
horrible. So,
all right.
yeah.
Next week we're watching Godfather Part 2. Yes, I'm torturing us 3 weeks in a row. That's from
No, technically, that's
1974.
not true. You're only torturing us 2 weeks in a row. I'm torturing us for the third.
Oh yeah, that is true.
And it was torture for some of you.
1974, and we'll discuss it next week. Okay, I'm Frank Gaffney. Go watch the Godfather. I can't do it.
And also with you.
Grr, grr.